Hello, everyone. Before I start talking about important things, maybe I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Miguel Logrono. I am in fourth year college right now. I am taking up Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. I'm studying in Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, or MSU-IIT, and I'm currently located here in my hometown, Iligan City, in the province of Lanao del Norte in northern Mindanao. As an answer to the question of how did I knew about the scholarship, and this happened to me when I was just in second year, to be honest, at that time, I was really in need of a scholarship. And so what I did was to browse through the internet. Days of research and browsing and searching. And then I was able to find this specific Facebook post that calls for application on the scholarship from the Facebook page of the Peace Corps Alumni Foundation for Philippine Development. And so upon getting acquainted with the scholarship, it was clear to me that I was genuinely interested in applying. And this is not just because of the gains that I could possibly get, but also how this scholarship has been so meaningful and personal to me, as it not only champions peace, but it also aims to contribute towards Philippine development, which I think is a very great deal. In completing my application, I was really as independent as I was when I worked through my essays and the documentary requirements. The thought of being accepted never even came into my mind. I just believed that I had in me some of the values that the scholarship committee had been looking for. And basically, this was my interest and advocacy to peace that gave me that level of confidence to really make the application. The onboarding to the scholarship had become so easy, especially with the help of Ate Rachel Briones. Then working through my requests, Ate Hana Katiis has been more than helpful. And so I also want to grab this very rare opportunity to thank these people, Ate Rachel, Ate Hana, Kuya Fernando Eco, and the rest of the Ituloy team. My deepest thank you also to Sir Roland De Jesus, the Vice President for Philippine Operations, Sir Paul Alexson, the President, and all of the Board of Directors. To be honest, I consider this scholarship as God's gift to me, since it came to me at the perfect time, at that time when I needed help the most. Just a background on my story. I came from a broken family. In essence, my father does not support me or my younger brother with our daily sustenance, much more for the expenses pertaining to our education. My mother, on the other hand, though she's willing to support me, but her unemployment makes it impossible for her to do so. And so, growing up with my grandparents for most of my childhood, my Lola, with her skill and talent in dressmaking and sewing, had been the source of financial support for me as I study and hurdle through college. Unfortunately, with shock on the eve of Christmas of 2019, my Lola had a massive heart attack and stroke, leaving her not only very sick for intensive care unit, but also incapacitated as she was recovering. This meant that my education was in peril. But in the most perfect of timing, at also this time, the scholarship committee had also announced through the website that I was one of the chosen scholars from the many, many applicants. It gave me relief. Suddenly, the empty space has been filled again. It was a beacon of hope for me. I think the best gift that this scholarship had provided for me is the sense of assurance and protection and predictability that no matter what happens, everything will be all right. That I will be able to find my way through the end of the tunnel. That I had to worry more on important things like family and studies than being worried about where to get the funds for this and that. It gave me the focus that once I didn't have to the things that really, really matter. Relationships, Education, society. You know, the pandemic has been damaging to say the least. It left us more vulnerable physically, emotionally, mentally, and much more financially. The idea that I will graduate soon, that someone is willing to help me through, that is what I felt. And that is what I'm most thankful for. It's this sense of community, this sense of love, this sense of meaning. This is more than the financial aid that we receive. And my heart is full of gratitude. My heart is drowning with gratitude. Thank you. Today, as like before, I continue to live out to my personal advocacies, inspired and empowered as ever before, as a leader, as a peace advocate, as a Mindanaoan, as a Filipino, as a citizen of the world. Since my first year up to now, I continue to volunteer and being engaged with the community. I have been a leader of MyCOP or MSU-IIT Youth Chain of Peace. It is a university-based organization focused on peace building, peace action, security and governance issues, especially in Mindanao, where we mobilize the youth by linking the academe with multi-sector stakeholders. This means that we partner with the government, with the Philippine National Police Special Action Force, with the Armed Forces of the Philippines, with PIDEA, and many NGOs or non-government organizations in forwarding issues of peace and development, countering violent extremism, religious and cultural tolerance, among others. I also continue to volunteer and serve as the Iligan City focal person for Bilang Bahagi, a national online youth-led campaign on voter engagement and mobilization. At the end of the day, I believe that most of the problems that the Philippine society is experiencing today is very political in nature. And that is the rationale that I had in mind when I took up BA Political Science. I want to contribute to Philippine development by forwarding issues related to politics. And that is where I will dedicate my degree, my education. Thank you so much for listening.